What's up, guys, and welcome to another episode of Gamescript. Going to be looking at the New York Giants versus Cincinnati Bengals in this one. We got some injuries to both sides, and we got an interesting game where it seems like there's a lot of good matchups, and it seems like we have a couple teams that are in must-win situations tonight, and I'll dig into that right after this. Hey, what's up, guys? Simon Edwards at Pumacom here with Heat Seeker Sports, and you're watching Gamescript. Today's episode looking at the Cincinnati Bengals versus the New York Giants. It's a 45.5-point total with Cincinnati as 3.5-point dogs. Seems like kind of a weird line for the Bengals in this one. I know that their defense has sucked this year, but New York is missing their most potent offensive weapon in Malik Nabers in this one. They're also missing Devin Singletary. We saw last week with Tyrone Tracy that, maybe that's not such a big deal with Devin Singletary, but Malik Nabers is a huge blow to the team. Last week, they Wandale and some of the other receiving weapons stepped up in his absence, but tonight they faced the Cincinnati Bengals, who is a team with a high-powered offense, and it's going to be interesting to see how they fare against them. They're playing in New York, so maybe that's why the spread is a little bit closer than I would have thought it would be with those missing weapons. They're also missing Kayvon Thibodeau, their edge rusher. On top of that, like against a offense like the Bengals, that's not really a situation where I would think that it would be that close of a spread, but I'll dig into it in a minute. Make sure to hit that like button. Looking for 30 likes to put out a shorter video, and make sure to hit subscribe. I'm looking for 1,100 subscribers in the near future. Trying to get that before the end of week 7. So I need about 70 more subscribers to hit that mark. So please help me out there, and let's dig into this game. So, Bengals versus the Giants. Like I said, there's some injuries, especially on the New York side, where they're missing Kayvon Thibodeau, one of their elite edge rushers, or like really good edge rushers. They're missing Malik Nabers. They're missing Singletary. Graham Gano is even out for them. We got Cincinnati's missing some offensive, some of their O-line pieces, but overall, it's a situation that seems to favor the Bengals a little bit more. Let me take a look at one of these other injuries here. Dax Hill is out for the Bengals as well. He's a safety, and that sets up the passing game a little bit for the Giants. But I think overall, the injury situation hurts the Giants much more than it does the Bengals in this one, and we can build our lineups accordingly. The Giants have been pretty good against the pass catchers, but they're still giving up a decent amount of points to wideouts. They're giving up, 20.5 DraftKings points a game to wideouts. 22.7 DraftKings points a game to wideouts. Only 9 DraftKings points a game to slots, but we're not really interested in the slots in this matchup because Higgins and Chase are both wideouts, and they're both running routes on the perimeter. So we're not really concerned about the slot in this matchup. And it sets up the Bengals to have the better end of this matchup from a passing game perspective. The Giants have only been giving up 16.6 DraftKings points a game to quarterbacks, but they're missing Thibodeau tonight. That's gonna hurt them, and Cincinnati, I think, can handle a situation like that. The Bengals have been giving up a ton of points all around. They've been giving up 20 DraftKings points to the quarterback position. They've been giving up 23 to running backs, 21.7 to the wideouts, and slot receivers have been getting 11 DraftKings points, and even tight ends have been getting in on it with 13.2 DraftKings points. So I think, like maybe there lies where we see the spread kind of balanced, like not Cincinnati running away with it. So let's take a look at this player pool here. Jamar Chase, obviously has a good matchup any night against a New York defense that's a little bit depleted. On top of that, they've generally let wide receiver ones do well against them anyways. So Jamar Chase in a decent matchup. Higgins in that same matchup. I think Higgins might be a better option as a cheaper option as captain, because I think there's a lot of guys in this game with good matchups, and it's going to be tough to pick out a captain. You're really going to have to just kind of, figure out a direction that you want to go with the game script and kind of stick with it. I may go as far as captains. I may stick with these Bengals running backs, even though the Giants are giving up only 21 DraftKings points a game to the running back position. But I do think that the Bengals can win this game, and I might just stick with the running backs and try to go in a direction there. Like I even start just building it now. Like I'm going to go with Zach Moss in the captain. He's cheap. He'll help us get some of these other guys in who are going to be good matchups. I think Wandale has a good one-on-one matchup. And Wandale is who was leaned on with Nabers out last week. He ended up getting 9 targets. He's gotten 9, 14, and 8 the last few weeks, and then he threw in a 12 in week 1. So I expect the volume to be there for Wandale, and I'm looking for volume on this slate. I'm going to go with Chase. Now let's go with Higgins, and let's go with Burrow in this one. I want to get Burrow in there. It's going to leave us with 5,200 per guy. Going with Higgins over Chase kind of helps me justify having Moss in the captain there. Wandale is there for volume. Tight ends have done well versus the Bengals. So let's look at the tight end here for the Giants, if I can find him. Let's see. There it is. Theo Johnson, as far as targets, last week he had 5 targets. He had 1 versus Dallas, 3 the prior week versus Cleveland. So nothing too special about this guy, but with Malik Nabers out and looking for volume, maybe he has a chance to have a decent game. Cincinnati's given up 13.2 DraftKings points a game to the tight end position. Who might be interesting too this week is Jalen Hyatt. I know I talk about him a lot when Giants have their Giants are on these showdown slates. He didn't have any targets last week. I just can't. I can't go there with him. Let's see. If we're looking through this slate, though, Daniel Jones, he's got a good matchup. 20 DraftKings points, 22 DraftKings points last week without Nabers, which is kind of surprising. He had a couple other weeks where he had 19 DraftKings points versus Cleveland. He had 18 DraftKings points versus Washington. So he's had a few good games. What's up, buddy?
Can I say something?
What?
Lions are crushing it downstairs.
Okay.
It's 34-6.
All right, bud. Cool. I'll be down a little bit. All right, go. All right, let me do my show, please.
Oh, you're gonna break my punch, okay?
There you go.
You missed me.
All right. Tyrone Tracy is in a situation where Devin Singletary is out, and he had 17 DraftKings points in last week's matchup when he had the backfield to himself, and he ended up, in a matchup tonight where Cincinnati's giving up 23 DraftKings points a game to the running back position. So I don't hate Tyrone Tracy. Maybe we put him in this lineup too. I think that the Cincinnati Bengals defense is bad enough so that we can keep Tyrone Tracy and Wan'Dale Robinson active throughout this game as far as a script, especially if we got Moss in the captain. Maybe New York is handling the passing game a little bit more than people would expect. That's why we get that close spread. But we have Justice, we have Burrow and Higgins to justify, like having some offensive output on the Bengals side. That's going to leave us with 3K. That puts us in Theo Johnson range, which I don't hate, but that would put us at a like a 3-3 build, which I'm not too thrilled about in this matchup. If we wanted to, we could take out Tracy. Let's say it's Wan'Dale. Let's get the kicker in this one. Let's put in, where's he at? Let's put in McPherson. It's going to leave us with 5,200. That's going to put us in. I put McPherson in there just because the Giants do have a pretty good defense, even though they're missing some pieces. And I think that they should be able to slow down the Bengals a little bit, playing at home, at least while the Giants are able to stay in the game. I think at some point the Bengals run away with it, but I do think that maybe the Giants are able to slow them down enough so that McPherson will get a couple opportunities in field goal range. So let's put McPherson in there. This can leave with 5,200. At that point, you could put in Greg Joseph. You could put in the Bengals D if you don't believe in the Giants. You got Josephus. I'd probably stay away from Josephus. Gesicki is an option there. I'd probably go Gesicki over Josephus. And like Giants D and stuff like that. Eric All. I think in a matchup like this, I'm leaning more towards Gesicki than Eric All. We don't really need that. There's not really a huge salary discrepancy anymore, and I think that if they're the same salary, I probably lean Gesicki over Eric All, just because Gesicki's playing more of those passing downs. Trying to see if there's anyone else. Slayton's obviously interesting. Had a decent week last week. I mean, you could always go with Brown in here too. If you wanted to maybe go, maybe we take out Burrow. Maybe we go with Brown. And maybe somehow we can get Daniel Jones in this lineup. If we put Daniel Jones in there, like he has the running ability, maybe playing from behind, leaves us with 2,800. That gives us Theo Johnson as an option. It's really a tricky slate compared to ones that we've done lately. I don't feel like there's a clear answer on a direction. I think you just, like I said at the top, you really just got to pick a direction and stick with it. I like the Cincinnati running backs, though. I think that from an ownership perspective, let's look at their captain ownership. As far as a captain ownership perspective, looking at 4.7 for Chase Brown and 4.2 for Zach Moss. So because they're kind of a timeshare, they're spread out a little bit. But Zach Moss is basically getting 2 times the snaps as Chase Brown, which puts me a little bit more towards Zach Moss. They both have been hurt this week, which I think Zach Moss has been recovered a little bit quicker than Brown this week. So maybe, like that helps sway me more towards Zach Moss as well. If we want to put like Higgins in instead, maybe Higgins is the captain, and then maybe we put Moss in there. Moss and Brown leaves us with 2,100 in that situation. If I got 2,100, I could put Hyatt in there and hope that he gets more work than he's been getting. That takes us out of Theo Johnson's range. If you wanted to go, let's say, with just one of these guys, maybe let's take out Jones. Let's put Burrow back in there, and let's go back to McPherson. I mean, it leaves us with 4,500. Puts us in Gesicki, Giants D if you wanted to go that route. Theo Johnson range. I kind of like the build flow better with having a guy like Higgins as the captain. If you wanted to swap him out, let's see what would be with Chase. That'd leave us with 1,500, a little bit more restrictive. Higgins has been getting more higher target share than Chase, even though Chase blew up last week. But Giants, maybe the Giants decide to focus their attention on Chase, and it gives us opening for Higgins to have a big game. And puts us in this situation. I would go Gesicki again over Josephus if I was left with these options and stuff. But I'm going to let you guys go. I'm going to get this show up and posted, but gives you a direction to kind of think in. I think that the Bengals, despite the spread, are going to win by more than 3.5 points. I think that maybe they win by a touchdown, though. I don't think maybe they blow them out necessarily. Depending on how this Giants defense is able to hold up at home. Bengals offense has been on fire lately, but their defense has been bad. But the Giants offense, do we trust them to put up points against even a bad defense? Every time I seem to try to give Daniel Jones a chance, he ends up like choking, and I'm reminded of why I don't use Daniel Jones. So, like maybe I just kind of go in a direction where, fade the Giants for the most part. Wan'Dale Robinson, I know he gets the volume. Stick with him. Maybe Tyrone Tracy. I think I like him a little bit more than I like the Daniel Jones end of things. And I probably would only have one pass catcher from the Giants in my lineups tonight, and probably have limited exposure to Giants in general. Let's see what the makeup of these builds are. Yeah, because 4-2 Cincy is the same ownership as 4-2 Giants builds. So you're really not getting an advantage by going 4-2 Cincy or pivoting to 4-2 Giants there. So I really think that 4-2 Cincy makes the most sense. And I do like Higgins as a potential captain option. A lot of figuring out to do. Don't have a lot of time, so I'm going to get the show up. Thanks for watching, guys. Hit that like button. Give me the 30 likes. And hit that subscribe button. I'm looking for 1,100 subscribers by the end of week 7, let's say. I'm at 1,040 right now, so help me out there. Appreciate it, and good luck, guys.